Hi, everyone. We're here at the Metals Investor Forum in Toronto, and I have Galina Meleger, who is VP Investor Relations with Skeena Gold and Silver. Galina, thanks so much for being with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you. So Skeena really has some impressive characteristics. Its Eskay Creek flagship project is really a standout. Why don't we start with that? Tell us a little bit about what makes Eskay Creek a world-class project and what some of the key metrics are at Eskay.
Yeah, so Eskay Creek has so many attributes of a world-class mine that it's even hard just to pick a couple. But I'll start with grade. Like first and foremost, this is a high-grade open pit gold mine that is one of the highest in the world. So we're forecasting about 5.5 grams per ton equivalent in the first 5 years, which is approximately triple the open pit global average. Secondly, the scale of the project is very significant. We've outlined 4.6 million ounces in reserves. 80% of that is in the proven category. And out of that reserve, we will be driving production of about 450,000 ounces of gold equivalent metal, again, in years 1 through 5. So very, very sizable and chunky, and certainly a key differentiator. And if I had to pick another, I would say timing and valuation. So at spot prices today, we are trading at 0.4 times PNAV. And that's certainly a very compelling metric for investors, knowing that production is 2 years away. So we see an opportunity to go 3 or 4-fold, conservatively speaking, from where we are today.
Excellent. Well, you touched on some of those points. I mean, it really does put Eskay Creek up there with some of the bigger and best projects. Really quite impressive, and in an excellent area to be operating as well, right? The Golden Triangle in British Columbia. Can you give us an idea of, obviously you've put out studies that put a value on the project, and the market, of course, does its thing and attributes its value, and that moves up and down. But if you look at spot prices and you apply, or even say closer to current spot prices on the model, what does that do to Eskay Creek? How much more compelling does it get even at that point?
Sure, absolutely. So we look at it in two different ways. We can look at the metrics before production, which is like your NPV, your IRR, and your payback. So at spot prices today, we're north of $4 billion for NPV after tax, against the market cap today of $1.5 billion. Our IRR is 67%, and our payback period is 0.7 years, meaning that once we get up and running, it'll take about 300 days of full-scale operations to pay back the capital cost of the project. And then on the other side, if you look at our forecasted financial metrics, so this is the fun part, and just kind of working our way down the income statement.
Right.
At spot prices today, revenue north of 1.5 billion, EBITDA north of 1.3 billion per year, and after-tax cash flow of $800 million per year, again in years 1 through 5. But what I do is I apply conservative multiples onto those metrics. So for example, with the EBITDA, the 1.3 billion per year, you can go, okay, multiple of 5, that arrives at a market cap of 6 billion. On the after-tax cash flow, you can do multiple of 8. Again, you arrive at that $6 billion valuation. So you can get an idea of how we think about the valuation of the company from where we are today.
Wow. So certainly looks like just given where you are now and maybe valuing the company more fairly, there's a lot of upside. And that's without even advancing it and all of the kinds of things you're going to be doing over the next year and couple of years. And so very, very compelling.
Thank you.
There's a significant, and this is why we're here, there's a very significant silver component to this project. And I think that's something that people will miss if they don't pay attention and really sort of focus on that particular. And I know that you've gone through a rebranding to help bring that to the fore. Maybe tell us a little bit about that significant silver component and what that could mean for this project and the profitability and so on.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I feel the market appreciates that this is world-class gold. But I feel like as we're going out there and telling more people about how much silver we actually have, people are pleasantly surprised. And that's why I wanted to come here and really explain that we have more silver on a reserve basis than most of the primary silver producers in the silver mining sector. But anyway, so basically,
Right.
the value split is about 65% gold and 35% silver. But because of how big it is, that byproduct credit of 35% makes us one of the largest primary silver producers on a production basis. So in years 1 through 5, we're going to be producing 9.5 million ounces of pure silver. You and I know
Right.
that's more silver than a lot of the, sweethearts. I call them silver mining sweethearts, like your
Absolutely.
Aya and your Chispas. So that's just off our byproduct credit. And for us, that's really important because we see an opportunity with the silver to propel our re-rating, as well as have a very meaningful byproduct credit on our unit costs.
And like you said, and you've pointed out in your presentation, these are, although it's a lesser component of what you're producing, the silver is actually a globally significant or the numbers, the ounces coming out of the ground, and again, especially in the first 5 years, are globally significant contributors to silver supply. And that's something that I think people need to kind of realize, and that's what makes Eskay and Skeena certainly stand out when it comes to the silver side of things.
Correct.
There's been an interesting and very positive development recently with the BC government. They've committed to fast tracking some mining projects. And I'd like you to, I won't steal your thunder, I'll let you tell us about it. That this is really quite compelling and very important and interesting, I think, for potential investors to know about. So maybe tell us about what that is and what the potential effects are.
Sure. So the announcement happened a couple of weeks ago, and it came from the Premier, and it was in response to the tariff impositions issued by Trump. Basically, the announcement listed 18 projects, whether that be mining or whether that be renewable energy or gas, that the province intends to fast track to offset some of the negative implications associated with the tariffs. And it was not coincidentally that within that list, Eskay Creek was at the very top. Because regardless of the Trump tariffs or non-Trump tariffs, we were always in first place because we are the next major mine that's coming on stream in BC. But with that announcement, what it has allowed us to basically have is more confidence in our conversations with investors about the timeline, knowing that the bureaucrats and the governments are supportive of fast tracking and expediting these permits.
Right.
So again, production in 2 years, basically in our line of vision, and we're very excited about it.
Excellent. There's so much more to know about Skeena, and unfortunately, our time is limited. But maybe you can just tell us a little bit more about what's in store for this year, what people can look forward to. Obviously you're continuously advancing this project quite aggressively, and so there's going to be a lot of news and positive developments to look forward to. Maybe just highlight where you're going this year with Eskay and Skeena.
The primary focus this year is securing the environmental assessment certificate together with the Major Mines Act permit, and we expect to have that in hand in Q4. In parallel with that, and on the back of a bulk technical sample permit that we received in December of 2024, we are advancing our early works program. So what people don't know is that the bulk sample permit actually lets you get quite far on the development schedule. And so we're focusing on 4 main areas this year. Continuation of the bulk of the technical sample quarry, so small scale mining activities in the proposed pit. We've started with that. We're advancing the roads, widening them this summer in preparation for the arrival of larger equipment. We are continuing to work on the mine infrastructure pad area, which is where the mill buildings will go, and connecting to the hydropower. So we've started civil works on the Volcano Creek substation. So it's going to be a very busy year. Literally, as we're speaking, we're starting the recruitment ramp up for the working season in Q2. And we've gotten really far in procurement as well. So we've procured all of the major mill equipment, coming right in line with DFS. So I think, by the time we actually get to receiving full permits in Q4 of this year, we will actually be 30% complete from a construction standpoint.
Amazing. So, yeah, I mean, very, very quick progress and very substantial progress. Certainly, some great milestones to be met this year, and great development. So, I invite everyone to follow Skeena and all, how that's all progressing, and certainly looking to some very positive outcomes as we go forward.
Thank you.